Welcome to the NIKKINOO Show. I am your host, Nikki, and I have an amazing guest tonight, Abe Gurko. Won't be silent. Abe, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having me. You're kidding? You know, you're the first person I saw on TikTok. Like,
really?
Yep.
Wow.
I was like, oh, wow, you can talk about politics? I was so, didn't really know what the whole thing was. And then I was like, oh, okay, I get this.
Yeah, you caught on real quick. Well, thank you so much for being on. So, Abe, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, your platforms, and what people can expect from your content.
Well, I'm true to the name of the platform, which is Won't Be Silent. And anyone who's known me since I was like yay high, and is that I've always been outspoken. I've always felt like I'm always the person that says what you're thinking, but you don't want to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the class clown, the whole, it's carried me through my life. So my platform speaks out about currently, of course, our horrendous state of the politics that we're in. And yeah, so it's Won't Be Silent on TikTok and Won't Be Silent here on YouTube. And I'm like thrilled to be able to reconnect with my inner self, which is what this platform has allowed me to do.
Yeah, it is. Excellent. Excellent. And I follow you on all your platforms. Although I got today, I was sending you a message on Instagram and I was like, what the heck? I'm not following him on Instagram. So I started following you right away. I'm like,
good. I mean, I'm not huge on Instagram for some reason. I used to be big on Facebook, but I think the politics of Facebook are like horrendous that I like occasionally like whatever. But yeah, TikTok to me is much more about who I am and who the people I want to be surrounded by.
Yeah.
Honest, smart, funny, Instagram, I feel like you definitely have hilarious people there too, but I think it's more people trying to one-up each other with like, well, much more fabulous with this one. And I went to this fashion show and blah. So
oh my gosh. Yeah. So, you have such an interesting life. You've had such an interesting life thus far, and we're going to talk about that. But I do want to talk about some current events first before we get started into get to know Abe. So tell us your thoughts on the upcoming 2022 elections.
Well, I have to say, I am very optimistic about 2022. As dark as I feel like 2021 is currently, it's the same thing. I feel the same way in my gut as I did about knowing that Joe Biden was going to win. Like early on, the minute that happened, the minute he was solidified, I was like, this is good. Beats over evil. You know what I mean? I think we have a hard job ahead of us. I'm very eager to support certain races. As you know, I'm getting behind that guy in Georgia.
Marcus Flowers, I actually have a video. I pulled a video off of your page.
Oh, good.
One of his advertisements. So do you want me to go ahead and play it?
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, Marcus Flowers is running up against Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia. So let's go ahead and take a look here.
Hey, this is Marcus Flowers, a Democratic Army veteran running for Congress against Marjorie Taylor Greene here in Georgia. And this is my dog, Max. He may be deaf and only have 3 legs, but he and I sure know how to get into some good trouble. But Max and I are going to need your help here in this campaign. So if you can chip in $5, $10, or whatever you can, it surely would mean the world to us. All right, Max, thanks for doing this video with me. Here's your turkey treat.
I love it.
Anyone who has their dog in the commercial gotta be,
Right.
So the thing with him is that I just, I kind of, in the internet, I kind of zone in and look for things and I'm, spend a lot of time there. And I happened to see his first promotional video where, if you don't know anyone who wants to know about him, he's a veteran. He's he's a disabled veteran, and he's working for the State Department and has been for the past 20 years. And he's one of those people that kind of creates the opportunity for the servicemen to get help and to provide support. And he's just an amazing guy. So because he's in the State Department, he doesn't get involved with politics because you're not allowed to do that.
Right.
So he saw what happened with George Floyd and realized that, hey, that could have been me because I
Mhm.
have a kid at the same age. I'm a black man and
Mhm.
whatever. And then January 6th happened, and he walked right into the State Department and says, I'm quitting my job. I'm going to run for Congress.
Excellent.
And I saw that video and I was like, oh my God, if Marjorie Taylor Greene could be taken down by a black man, it would be like the
Mhm.
most
It would be
brilliant
so
story.
great. And for those of you who don't know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is here, just take a look here. Yes. Yes, I did.
I love it. She is such a horse's ass.
Oh,
She's so dangerous because
she
she
is.
knows now how to raise money. And,
Mhm.
it's like the thing about politicians, which is why I would never want to be one, because
Mm.
once you cross over to like the power
Yeah.
side and the money starts coming in without you having to do anything,
Mm.
that's when people get really dangerous. And
Yep.
she's there in such a
She's
short period.
dangerous. Did you see that she chased AOC down the other day? And because all that came to mind was when she chased down David Hogg. Do you remember the survivor? Yeah, the
Yeah.
shooting survivor. And that's exactly what she did to AOC. And AOC complained. She's like, she's dangerous. Like, I don't feel safe doing my job with her right next to me. And she should be scared because Marjorie Taylor Greene's lost her mind. Not that she ever had one, but she's a loose cannon.
And her supporters are the ones that would inflict damage onto AOC.
Yep.
She's still a young woman walking or living. She's not.
Mhm.
Anyway, they've upped her security since that event.
Good.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
How can that even be? And then Marjorie Taylor Greene is basically yelling at her, why do you support a terrorist organization about Antifa? And you're like, I'm like, are you kidding me? You were a part of the insurrection that was an actual terrorist act on our country and tried to undermine our democracy. And you're going after her for supporting a terrorist group? Antifa, it's anti-fascism, bitch. Like, do you not know what Antifa means? Because if you're not Antifa, then you're a freaking fascist.
Well, of course she doesn't know what it means because she's like a dangerous, stupid person.
Yep.
I don't want to curse, but yeah, I mean, this is the world we're finding ourselves in, which is why always. So the thing is that the message of "Won't Be Silent" is especially important for this next election cycle because what better way to say I won't be silent than by voting?
Yep.
This is a message that I've cultivated since we got into when we went into lockdown last March. I was like, and what am I going to not do anything for the next year?
Yeah.
So I hooked up with a voting rights organization in Washington, D.C., and used my platform, which is a musical platform, to do a whole bunch of public service announcements to get young people of color especially, registered to vote.
Excellent.
And it just felt really good. And I want this platform to just continue. And I'm just kind of figuring out how to make that work and what I can do with it. But that's why I just started my YouTube channel just like 2 months ago. And I want to interview, of course, the people who I adore. But I did a great interview with Marcus. Was it one of the first interviews he agreed to do?
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, I think it's up now.
I got to go watch that because I'd love to have him on my show. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'll tell you who to reach out to.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, he's
Ryan
awesome.
and I would love to have him on our show.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
He's so honorable and he's so calm and clear, and he's from that district. And he goes, I don't know, I live here. I talk to the people. Nobody thinks she's doing great work for this area. She's doing great stuff for herself. So there's a few other things that I want to look into. Like I think Ohio is really an important state. I want to make sure we get behind. I think Tim Ryan. Have you seen? You know who Tim Ryan?
No, I need to know all of the people, and I need to know what their what their mission is, what their policies will be, what they believe in, and all that. I need to do all of my homework because I want to help as many people as I can overturn any Republican seats.
I'm on that path now of researching. Tim Ryan, he ran for president when 800 other Democrats were running for president for the
Oh,
2000.
wow. Yes. Yeah.
Remember, there was like you couldn't get
Uh-huh.
them all on the stage. Anyway,
Mhm.
he's lovely, but I just saw him on the in Congress. He's in Congress now, but he's going to run for. He wants to run for Senate because that guy
Mhm.
Ralph Portman's leaving.
Mhm.
He's so amazing the way he screams at those Republicans. You are going to love this. I'll send you the
Okay,
clip.
good. I love it. Now,
Anyway,
that's something I can get on board with.
I'm very easy to please. If you hate them, I'm on your side already.
Oh my
But he's
gosh.
really lovely, and I hope that he can be dynamic enough
Yeah.
because you know what? One of the people running in Ohio hired Kellyanne Conway to be his. Uh,
Like,
she's going at it.
campaign manager. Mm.
Yeah.
I don't understand her and her husband's relationship. I could never be in a relationship like that. Like, if my husband turned out to be I would have known anyway, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's
to oh
nuts.
my god, they couldn't be more different. Like, their political views couldn't be more different. It's insane to me.
I mean, I think they initially were on the same page, but I think
Mhm.
anyone that didn't evolve into thinking the way he thinks, whereas his wife's still sticking by that kind of by the book.
Mhm.
I mean, we are in a certain amount of danger for the next few months because I think everything's going to continue to be volatile. But that's the whole thing. I mean, the election cycle, as much as we feel like it's tomorrow,
Yeah,
it's such a long time away.
it
People don't
is.
make a decision until like 3 weeks, but you know
Yeah.
what I mean? The real big
Mhm.
campaigns don't start till the last month. So I'm
But
just
for people like us, we need to start early
yes,
and start,
because
like, getting the message and using our platforms to help the
yeah,
people that are,
100%. That
fighting for the Dem seat. Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
keep
I just think that if you think about it, this group of people that we are all connected with,
Mhm.
I mean, together we have over 5 million followers.
Yeah, that's a
And
lot.
and we have amassed like 120 million likes.
Yep.
That's not nothing, you know.
Mhm.
That's like I'm not
Speaks
saying you get
volumes.
100 million people to vote, whatever,
Yep.
but if it's a numbers game, at the end of the day,
Mhm.
we have to kind of really be strategic with looking at the way Trump targeted certain states and counties and got the electoral vote that way. I think we
Mhm.
have to be as zoomed in as that when it
Yep.
comes down to it.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. I mean, I'm all in for it, and I would love to collab with creators like yourself, as we get a little bit closer and really try and make a difference. I think we made a difference for the 2020 election
100.
and the runoff in Georgia. I think
I
that
think we were, yeah,
I think we all had a part that helped.
the runoff 100%. I mean,
Mhm.
I think our energy was amazing for 2020 November.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
think
Mhm.
I think we coalesced to know, oh my God, look, people are like listening to what we're saying. But
Yeah.
it all kind of happened haphazardly. Like you
Mhm.
can't tell me you came on that platform to say, this is what I'm gonna do. And I mean, it's just you find your voice, it becomes like
It
this,
evolves.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, I think we should do like a massive Zoom fundraiser for Marcus or whoever
Love
else,
it.
and really just
Yeah.
meet our people.
I have an idea. Now that we can do 2 people on our, TikTok lives, all that people donate, like, they do their little things, will go right to Marcus Flowers,
Yeah,
and
well,
we can do, like, a week thing where this person, like you and I, are set up at this time on this day, and we can have a schedule. This is when these 2 creators are going on, and all of the monies will be donated to Marcus Flowers' campaign.
you would love that.
Yeah, I think I would totally do that. I think that would be
Good.
amazing.
Good. I'll call his social media girl and tell her
Yay.
he came up in conversation. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, and I don't know why I don't have your phone number, but I'll send it to you in,
yeah.
Instagram, and then that way you can give them my information, and they can get in touch with me any way they want.
I'll do
But
an email text intro to this girl, Liz.
okay,
I
perfect.
mean, it's
I would
like
love it.
what's so amazing about his campaign. It's like it's kind of happening. It's happening haphazard. It's not like he's got the big guns are in there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like his social media girl lives in Alabama. His, his
Mhm.
campaign manager doesn't even live in the same county. It's
Yeah.
like he's meeting people that he feels comfortable with, and he just
Mhm.
wants to do something that's very organic. I mean, I am sure he's going to be jumped on by Hollywood. There's
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
because
I hope so.
yeah,
That he
and
gets the exposure that he needs, and I think with all of our platforms, I think we can make it happen for him even
yeah.
quicker.
Do
So
you
until he can get on, like, some of the big shows, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, the Daily Beast. What's her name? Molly Youngfast. I don't know if you follow her. She's
Molly, yes, I follow her.
like
Twitter, Insta, everywhere.
please put him on here. They have a really great podcast. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
man. Okay, well, we can push to
he was on Raw Story. Did you go to rawstory.com ever?
no, raw, like RAW?
RAW Story. It's delicious. It's like they are
Cool.
run by the most uber Democrats you've ever seen in your life. Every fart that a Republican lays is like a bulletin that comes into you. It's genius. I love it. It's so good.
Oh, man, that's awesome. I will definitely check that out for
Oh,
sure, and
I can't start my day without a little visit to that. But
nice.
then after like 9 in the morning, they just start coming in
Mhm.
like anything that you can go like, oh, those bastards, you know.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny. I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah.
So, although we've been seeing in the news and, like, a kind of across the board, this cancel culture on both sides. What are your feelings on cancel culture?
Well, as my post said yesterday,
Mhm.
I'm officially canceling cancel culture.
I
I
did see
mean,
that.
I just want to go on record that
Mhm.
like I had a
Mm.
blog back in the 2008, 2012 for 4 years when I
Mhm.
lived in New York City. That was really, it's kind of like what Won't Be Silent was, but I had to write, the whole thing was, written and written out.
Right.
And it was the same tone. It was called ImeanWhat.com.
Ah,
And,
nice.
and it was kind of just calling people out, the fashion industry, celebrities, politicians,
Mhm.
like the emperor's new clothes. And I did like a major piece on, this is like years ago,
Mhm.
about how political correctness is going to be the end of our culture.
For sure.
And it's so here now.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not into the left doing cancel culture.
Mhm.
I'm not into the right doing cancel culture. Look, you're always going to have an opinion on something that
Yeah.
somebody else does. I mean, you're never
Mhm.
going to not have an opinion.
Yep.
And like the whole thing about what you can say, what you can't say, you can't, it just becomes too much. It's like, who Donald Glover is?
Glover. Yeah, I was just gonna say that he said that cancel culture is
Mhm.
making boring film and boring TV shows because nobody can say anything anymore.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. So that inspired me to do my post yesterday. But if we're not going to be able to kind of dig in deep to
Mhm.
something that might even be taboo, like, how will you can't shave off the other parts of you for
Mhm.
fear of insulting somebody.
Yeah.
We, as it is, we hate so many people now because
Mhm.
of Trump. You know what I mean? We can't, it's like we've been dialed up. We can't just dial it down. And I don't know. I don't even think that's the right reason for it. But it drives me crazy. This
Yeah.
whole political correctness. And, even like the gay community, it's like enough with all the pronouns. I'm sorry. You know what I
No,
mean?
it's how you feel. Let it all out.
I,
Everyone's got different views and
I understand that everybody has their thing that they want to be, but okay. Like Facebook has 58 pronouns you can be. Come on. Like,
wow.
how about let's pick 5? You know what I mean? Like, if you can, I don't care how many people I piss off. If you can't manage to get into like, okay, I mean, come on.
Oh my
I
god.
feel like saying, okay, recite all 58 of
It's like the states.
them.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
anyway, but
That's a lot of pronouns. Like, what?
yeah,
I yeah,
yeah.
I'm
And Facebook of all places, with everyone's grandmother checking in on whatever. I mean,
yeah. Oh my
I,
gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, I agree with you. I think cancel culture, my husband and I were talking the other day, and he's like, "You know what?" He's like, "Everyone's so damn sensitive now." And
Yeah.
there are things that, obviously are there are things that shouldn't be said or whatever, but it's like every little thing you can't say anything
Yeah.
without the fear of being canceled. I mean, especially like people like you and I that we put ourselves out there in the media to be ostracized, we could be, and canceled. We put ourselves out there, and like the smallest little things can set people off. And
Well,
I think that's why I like Bill Maher so much. I don't agree with all of his stuff, but he's like straight up. This
yeah.
is, but
Yeah, I love Bill Maher.
yeah, I do too.
He speaks my language.
Yeah.
Look, not only is cancel culture annoying, but even our own platform, TikTok, cancels
It's huge
us.
there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I used to be I used to contribute to the Huffington Post when it
Woo.
first was whatever. And then when
Mhm.
AOL bought it, they started editing me. And it was a platform that everybody was just donating it
Yeah, yeah.
was just a creative outlet.
Mhm.
And I'm like, honey, if you're not paying me, you're not editing me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, bye. But
I Was it like an op-ed?
it's like my daily my daily op-ed.
That's awesome.
But it was very funny and opinionated and
Mhm.
talked about current events. Like there was one thing that went so viral that was unbelievable. Like when Lindsay Lohan showed when she was at the height of Lindsay Lohan, and her first photo shoot where she actually showed her nipple. It was like a big thing.
Jesus.
So I mean, I had my blog closed down the internet. 7 million hits in about an hour.
Wow. That's
so
awesome.
It was
Oh
very.
man, I gotta go look at that archive. That sounds fun.
The archive's still there. It's hilarious, and I'm proud to say that in 2012, I had been giving out this thing called the Gross Baboon of the Year Awards, and guess who won in 2012?
Lindsay Lohan. No. Oh, Donald Trump. He did in
Yeah,
2012.
well, I am not new to this girl.
Yeah,
And
right?
I hate him.
Yeah,
He is
same. I always have.
a
Always.
beast.
I'm from New York, so I know a lot. I knew a lot about him before he
Right.
started to, you know, this political career, if you will.
Ugh,
But
please. It's a
he's
marketing career. It's the continuation of his bad steaks and vodka and whatever the hell he's doing. Wait,
Trump University.
what brought you to North Carolina?
What?
What brought you to North Carolina?
The weather.
Yeah, New York, yikes, right?
Yeah, I'm a sunshine type of gal. I mean, as soon as you hit upstate New York, it's like this gloom. Now, granted, the summers are beautiful there, and we try and get up there to visit my parents in the summers. We do every year in the summer. But other than that, nope. I
Yeah,
like my warm weather.
I'm in LA.
I need it for my mental health. I
Yeah.
need sunlight. So,
Yeah, New York is always, I mean, I loved it. I lived there for many years,
mhm.
but it's like, I don't have another one of these winters in me. And there's so much construction. My favorite line that Carrie Fisher said is, I'm going to go back to New York when they're finished.
Which is never.
Never going to.
That's hilarious. Well, so I am so excited to show everyone this clip of a short film that you put together, and it's
Oh,
it's
cool.
called a Sizzler
A
clip or
sizzle reel.
a sizzle reel. Now,
Yes.
can you give us kind of an idea of I just took out the first portion of like the intro of this video. It's like what 5-6 minutes long. I watched it. It was amazing. Oh my God. And so professionally done and wonderful.
Thanks.
Tell us a little bit about the clip that I'm going to show. about
How
the
many studies you want?
about
A
not
minute?
even the clip, but about just
A
about what
minute?
it's yeah, about a minute.
Okay, good. So my family survived the Holocaust, but not all of them. My uncle was killed like hours before the liberation. And he just happened to have been like a big conductor and a composer in Europe before the war. And when the Jews were put into ghettos, before the concentration camps, they went to these ghettos. And he was the conductor of the Vilna Symphony Orchestra. So he was able to go back and work, but he had to come back to the ghetto at night. So him and the other musicians were like, fuck, like, what is this? So they smuggled all the pieces of the instrument required and they created the Vilna Ghetto Orchestra. And he conducted 35 concerts. It's documented. It's just a hero about saying music is life and music is a way that we best can deal with living in this, like, what the fuck situation. Anyway, so he's killed. Oh, and when he was in the concentration camp, he wrote a song which was intended as a song of resistance to the Nazis. Now, the thing was, the actual name of the song was Stay Silent, because all you had left was your dignity, and to keep it, and to don't let them take your tears, and let them, they can at least hold on to yourself. And that was the words of the music, the words of the song. Anyway, so he dies 1944, and the music and everything he created went away. 72 years later, the Holocaust Museum contacts my family. They found a piece of this music that's attributed to him. One of the survivors said, this is like the mantra that I prayed on and kept me alive. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I felt that this was, and now just to preface that I'm very kind of assimilated from the religion, because my mom survived Dachau and I just couldn't deal. It was like my childhood was all about imagining what that was like, you know what I mean? Nightmares and all. So I separated myself for the past 200 years, because that's how old I am. And coincidentally, when we got contacted about this piece of music, the Nazis were marching in Charlottesville. And it was like, okay, this dichotomy, there's a movie in here, and I'm not a filmmaker. I produce events and I produce video shoots and photo shoots. So I know how to produce, but I never did long form. And I said, I'm just going to go on this journey. And I've been on this journey since then. And it's taken me around the world. And I've decided I don't want to tell a Holocaust story only. I want to keep it as a conversation about music. From oppression comes music. So whether it's the cotton fields, the concentration camp, or the inner city streets, people turn to music as a way of dealing with life on life's terms. And it's a powerful, honorable thing that people do in these I don't understand
ungodly situations.
And unfortunately, you and I won't ever know what that's like.
I hope not. I hope not.
You know what it's like to be from the slums of, and you know what I mean? Those people turn to a form of music and expression. That's like, so it's a movie about hope. It's a movie about that music is life. And it's, and my journey is having me take my uncle's piece of music and have it interpreted by all different artists. So I've done an R&B version of it. When the kids were being put in Mexico, and when the kids were being put in the cages and the concentration camps and
detention centers,
I was like, are you fucking, I was so livid, only because the media, the media can be kind of gross. They're just like so sensationalist. I'm not saying what the kids weren't going through wasn't horrible, but like concentration camp, I don't know, a little extreme. You know? And for knowing I wanted to have the song translated into Spanish, and before you know it, I'm in Mexico City. You know what I mean? So it's just the journey. Unfortunately, because of COVID, I've had to cancel. Actually, I was going to go to North Carolina, the AME church, the gospel. So that I was going to do one in Nashville and then come back in LA and do a hip hop version of it. So that's been put on hold, and that will resume once people are comfortable enough. COVID to get back on the handle.
Awesome. Yeah. So I want to show everyone the clip, and then I want to talk about it. And I have some questions for you about, okay, so let's take a look. This is so beautifully done.
Thank you.
We had to go on with life. And we made the best of it. My brother was a child prodigy. He was on stage since he was 6 years old. At 25 years of age, he was the conductor of the Philharmonic Orchestra in Vilna. When the ghetto was liquidated, the men were brought to Kloga. It was a terrible camp. An hour before liberation, they burned them to death. They burned them.
That is like, I have goosebumps, honestly, Abe, and it's such a wonderful movie, and I enjoyed every moment of it. And you guys, if you want to watch the whole thing, I highly encourage you to watch this and subscribe to Abe. It won't be silent on his YouTube channel. Please visit him and watch this. It is beautiful, and it's just how. And tell them a little bit how it transitions into modern day.
Right. So just to let everybody know, that 5-minute piece is just what I use to try to sell this shit. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to still raise money for the next phase. So I have a lot of footage that I'm in editing still to put together, but I have a lot more to film. So when it came clear to me that this was the journey I was going to take, the first thing I wanted to do, because of my activism roots, I wanted the lyrics to be much more like now, you know. So I contacted Cara Diaguardi, who, you know, she's a big songwriter. I said, look, help, you know, and she didn't bat an eye, and she came up with these new lyrics, which the lyrics are all about, like, you know, we won't be silent. This is who we are. We're going to speak out, and we love ourselves enough to care. And I mean, just beautiful lyrics. Yeah. And so the journey, that was leg one of the journey. Then I'm like, who do I get to record this? Now, the thing is, you know, I'm like a refugee, not only from the fashion industry, but kind of from the celebrity industry. You know, I lived in that world, and I was like, whatever. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really want to have just like Ariana Grande presents like this Holocaust song. You know what I mean? It's like, not that can't happen down the road, but the way I was like spinning this bar. But I was having, let's have to preface, I cried the first year of this whole project because it's so emotional. I mean, cried in a good way, and because I feel like I'm giving hope to, I'm taking someone who was just an anonymous, one of the 6 million anonymous Jews, and I'm giving him a name and a face and a musical legacy, and I'm like, I'm doing that. Like,
you brought his music to life and his story to life.
I was just like some random fag, you know what I mean, doing nothing interesting, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden I'm like, I have a responsibility, so I whatever. Anyway, but it's been a joy, you know? So I was having lunch with someone, and I was like, who do I get to do this song? It's like, I can't just have, you know. She goes, have you heard of the Resistance Revival Chorus? And these are women who met at the Women's March in Washington, D.C. Coincidentally, they're all from New York, multicultural, all sizes, shapes, colors. They're amazing. And they met and started this group. And I said, God, I would love to contact them. And sure enough, I sent them a weepy note, and they were like, yeah, of course.
A weepy note.
So weepy. I have to look at it again. So that was like the first recording, and it was really emotional because up until that moment, we just had like a piano, like a couple of notes, just because what we found, I don't have the picture of it. What was found is that somebody said to somebody who was putting a collective book together of stories and stuff, just write down these numbers. I mean, it's like scrabbled, numbers. It's not like printed anything. Anyway, so hearing it in a room of like 30 women in a beautiful recording studio in New York City with like, what? Anyway, so that was amazing. And then to be here in LA, and we had an R&B version. We got this Antonique Smith. She's this beautiful vocalist. And we had these really hip, new kind of urban record producers giving it that spin. And then again, going to Mexico City here's the most hilarious thing. So I'm in my Soul Cycle class. The news that morning is that the kids are going into these concentration camps. So I'm like sobbing.
Yeah, detention center.
So I'm sobbing.
Yeah,
I'm about to stop my
Oh.
And the woman next to me, she goes, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "You don't understand. I'm making this movie, and like, what's happening with these kids? I need to get this thing in Spanish." She goes, "Oh, you should contact my friend. Her friend in Mexico City, pop singer, gay, Jewish."
Oh my gosh.
Immigrant to Mexico City.
Wow.
Who has a children's charity. And I was like, yeah. I mean, 2 weeks later, there we were. It's beautiful.
That's amazing.
Various versions are on the website, by the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You guys go check that out for sure. It's so awesome. I can't wait to see all of the footage that you have.
I can't wait to keep
going.
Oh
my gosh. Yeah. Well, things.
So there's been other versions, like this 17-year-old violinist here in Los Angeles says, "Can I play it?" I was like, no, of course, So there's a beautiful recording of her and her mom doing backup. But what ended up happening is I was in Germany a couple of years ago on a trip, and I was just having a conversation and met this guy who was talking, as I'm telling this story, my uncle's song, we found it about, and I can be pretty kind of excited about it.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway. So he happens to be the conductor of the Bavarian Symphony Orchestra in Munich, which is like the second biggest orchestra in Munich.
Wow. Yeah.
Culture.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So I'm telling him this story. I go back to America. 6 months later, he emails me. He goes, "Book a trip to Germany. Be here on March 17th." And he ended up putting together their spring gala was in of my uncle, and he had a German composer take the music, turn it into a whole big thing.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. It was like a 52-piece orchestra, an 87-voice choir.
Wow.
And it's sandwiched between Schubert's Unfinished Symphony, Mozart's Last Symphony, and my uncle. And it was like, and nobody wanted to go with me. So I'm alone, sitting in a room with 1,000 first and second, descendants of Nazis.
Oh God, that's right. You were in Germany. Oh shit.
I am like, and they're all like at intermission, like, "We're so sorry," blah, and they're all like coming. I was like Night of the Living Dead. Anyway,
oh my gosh, that's so funny.
It was a very wonderful, loving, forgiving. It was all about love and all about not like, I mean, it was just great. Anyway.
Yeah.
So the journey continues, it's all about getting anyone who's listening that's a really good musician or singer, feel free to contact us.
Yes.
I want to do one of the channels on YouTube, one of the things. I want to have people's interpretations of it. I don't care.
I would love, that's amazing. You should do a contest or something,
I haven't formulated it because I'm not like a social media man really, but that's the plan as we go along.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Now I know you are an activist, and the thing I love about this song is that you used a song that was written out of pain and hope and for people that were being oppressed. And I love how you've translated that to all people that are being oppressed today. Yeah. And I think it's a beautiful, wonderful, wonderful thing that you've done. And I think it, like you said, I think it brings so many groups of people hope.
Yeah. I mean, especially now. I mean, can we need the saying "won't be silent" any more than now? I mean, how amazing that, and I look at life as this like series of coincidences, like, or no coincidences. Like even COVID, as horrible as it was for so many people, there's like, you have to at least find how that was the teaching moment for you, and turning it into a message of telling people to vote during the most contentious election of our lives was like, okay, so this is what I get to do. My uncle's music lives on through this most gloriously important time, and
So
yeah, so that's why I'm just going to use this, even though I'm going to go back into filming soon enough, this thing is going to last from 22, 24 election. This won't be silent thing is not going away, it's going to spin in that direction.
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, we could do a Won't Be Silent concert before one of the, and just have all these different people coming together and sing protest songs. It's an awesome thing to do.
It is amazing. Yep. Very uplifting and, I love it. I absolutely love what you're doing. You're such a wonderful activist.
I feel if I'm dragging my sorry ass on this planet, I better be helping.
We need purpose. You're right. We need purpose.
Totally.
I totally agree with you. So I have some questions for you, and I'm sure that the people watching want to know these things as well. So, okay.
2 years old. Go ahead.
I'm 29. I joke all the time about that. So you're gay and happily married. Yep. So at what age did you come out, and how did your family take it?
Okay, so because I'm a senior citizen, so coming out then was different than it is culturally now. So, and I came from a very kind of traditional suburban kind of shut down sexuality kind of thing.
Highly religious?
Totally not.
Oh, okay.
But just ethnically kind of porny. I don't know what it is.
I gotcha.
So I officially came out when I was like 19 years old, even though I went back in kind of in a way, because it was like, I inherited my dad's business because he died when I was in high school.
I'm sorry.
And I had to drop out of school, college, and come home and work. And he was in the auto parts business. There was no way I could be like a sissy Mary. I was like,
yeah.
I would get like high and have sex, whatever. But I officially came out around the time when, it was the early 70s. It was late 70s. I'm not that old. It was like 76 is when I kind of like, all right, fuck it, girl.
Yeah.
And it was an extraordinary time in New York. It was New York was a different city back then, very gritty and very kind of creative and very like having sex in the streets. It was insane.
Oh, wow.
It was before AIDS. It was like before AIDS. People were insane because everyone was on drugs and everyone was having sex, and there was discos and whatever. It was so but the funny little story about when I was 19 and I sat my family down, I said, look, I need to have a family meeting. And, how often do you have a family meeting? Something is about.
You're like, oh, shit. Grab the beer.
I've had 2 of those meetings in my life. One is then when I sat my family down to say, okay, Dad, I cracked up your car. That was before he died. And then after he died, it was like, okay, everybody sit down. My sisters and my mom, I'm gay. My mother's like, it's a stage.
Like, no, you're not really.
Not really, we've all fondled, whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, so the line that, because I've been forever writing a book, which I'll hopefully one day get finished, but I always write, and of all the times that I wished my father had not died, that day wasn't one. That day wasn't one of them.
Oh yeah.
That would have been a hard one to say with him. Anyway.
Oh, how do you think he would have reacted?
My dad was like a very kind of hands-off parent because he was a workaholic and he was always working, and he just was like a figure that would come home and be like cheery, and then, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's the same thing about like life is a certain set of circumstances. My father dying young has been a really good gift to me to be very independent and very strong and
Mm-hmm.
very kind of. If he'd lived in if I would go into his business, and what would happen to me,
Yeah.
like a suburban nothing,
Mm-hmm.
So I attribute, it took a while, but I attribute his death to this amazing sense of why I am so willing to like always take a risk. If it means picking up my bootstraps again, okay, I'm good at it.
Mm-hmm.
I've started over so many times. Cats have less lives than me.
That's hilarious. That's a good reference.
Yeah, so being gay has been just, an extraordinary gift, because it's a certain amount of boils it down to the idea of freedom, which is why when I see people struggling with that, the truth will set you free. I mean, that's not a line that I made up. That's like, we always can come back to that. And the other thing is, when I see the Republicans, just to bring this back around, when I see the Republicans lying, like the entire GOP lying about Trump and what they're willing to do, it's like, don't they realize when they're going to finally let themselves be truthful, they're not going to have this kind of weird energy around.
Existence, and yeah, it is.
It's
I mean,
weird.
that's got to be tough to live and put on a face that isn't yours every day, and put out. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, their families.
that's
I mean,
not. They're not free.
and you can't tell me that they go home and their family's like, "Oh yes, Daddy, you're so smart." There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Louis Gohmert's daughter is like a New York City like rock star. She can't stand her. You know what I mean? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's the ancillary people that you're going to be You're not going to be respected by the people that you care about most.
Yeah. Right.
Like, that's the danger. That's like
Mm.
nothing to do with the fact that we hate your fucking guts. Anyway,
I love you. So you were saying you were in the Hollywood scene for a good amount of time.
on and
Tell
off.
us, because you grew up in New York, correct?
Grew up in New York. I was in the fashion industry, kind of producing events and whatever, and fashion shows and photo shoots. Then I had a bad winter and I came out to Los Angeles. And coincidentally, so many long stories, but someone from my 8th grade that I knew back in New Jersey was working for Carrie Fisher. And she said she needs somebody else to help her, because she was, back then, it was like early 90s. And she was a very big script writer here in Hollywood. So she needed somebody to kind of keep her motivated and get her up and going, and let's get, so it was kind of like a writing assistant in a way. And it was kind of like the most hilarious job on earth. And I called it, I was, how she was slave Leia in Star Wars.
Yep.
I was Leia's slave.
Personal assistant, right?
Slave. And that was amazing. And then what happened, interestingly enough, she was living with the guy. They had a daughter together, and they never got married, but they were together. And he came out and went and left her for another man.
Gotcha.
Being the gay guy in that environment, when she was like so tortured by that, and she left so much. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to leave Hollywood, because I'm not going to stay in town and work for some other celebrity. I go to her. I said, look, I have to leave. What am I going to do? Stay here in town and work for Lonnie Anderson? I'm out of here.
Lonnie Anderson, WKRP, Cincinnati.
I went back to New York, and I kept continued that part of my work. And then another bad winter happened. I came to Los Angeles. Carrie said, come on back. And I did for a few years. And then 9/11 happened. And everybody in the United States went certifiably insane. So I was in a relationship with someone who was Dutch. So we decided to just go spend a couple of years in Amsterdam.
Nice.
And then I came back, and again, the same thing. I've been around the block, girl. So I came back to Los Angeles 2013, and I'm staying. That's
good.
It. Not going to go back to New York.
Good. How long have you been married?
January was a year. We met,
Yeah.
introduced to a friend. Not one of
Nice.
these slide, not one of those slide back and forth ones. You know, he's a good-hearted,
Aw.
loves cleaning. That was on our third date. He redid my closet, and I said, "Okay, you are moving in."
I love it. Oh
um,
my gosh.
but anyway, so yeah, he's like a good-hearted. You know, he's a nut, but you know,
Mm.
so who isn't? You know.
Yeah. Well, everyone's got their nutty kind of habits, I guess, if you will, you know. I don't
Boy,
know.
as long as
It's
he keeps cleaning, honey, he's welcome. Yeah, he's
oh
just
my gosh. You're
energy,
hilarious.
energy, spirited, you
Yeah.
know, character, real character,
Oh,
and
that's
adorable.
awesome.
So,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
so cute.
You guys are such a handsome couple.
Aw,
Like
thanks.
beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
He's darling.
Um so when did you start speaking out for oppressed people? Like not just the gay community, but for like Black
No,
Lives
no.
Matter and yeah.
So I guess in 19, to really age myself, when the March on Washington happened back in 1970, it was
Mhm.
called Moratorium to End the War in Vietnam. I when I was in grade school, my
Mhm.
sister was in college, and that was like they all were marching on Washington.
Yeah.
Stopped everyone from going into my grade school, and that was my first real reality check that I needed to be part of solution and speak out. So of course I got into tons of trouble, but I didn't care,
It
you
was
know,
good trouble, right?
good trouble. So that was the first thing. And then when women's rights was a big thing, I was like, I wish I would wear a bra so I could burn it. You
You wear a bro.
know? So I did that. So I was part of that because my
Mhm.
whole family my dad died. I was raised by women, and
Right.
I'm very in awe of the power of women and
Yeah.
how they have what they do with themselves. Not only my mom surviving Dachau and being the most hilarious person I've ever met. So that's a testament to strength.
Mhm.
And my sister Vivian raised two kids with, you know, whatever, and started a business and went back to law school. And so she's like superwoman. And my other sister Rita's just kind of glamorous, which is kind of cool too. You know?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I have a high regard for women, and the women's movement was very important to me. And then gay rights came, and that was important to me. And then
Mhm.
I just the thing that really set off any of the wars that there was, you know, Iraq war, we were of course out in the streets. I'm like an out in the streets person, you know.
Mhm.
I love that part of activism.
Mhm.
And when Pulse happened in Atlanta, I was so
Yes. Oh
horrified.
my
So what
gosh.
happened was that happened, and then the next
That was
morning,
a mass shooting at a gay nightclub.
yes,
Mhm. In Pulse. I remember that.
years ago, I can't believe
Mhm.
it. So what happened was that next morning after that happened, I walked out in West Hollywood, happened to be in Gay Pride, and right where my apartment building is, like a block away, you know, every Pride you have to, by law, have the free, you know, people who are anti-gay are allowed to have a stand.
Yep.
Like,
Counter protests or
yeah,
something.
counter
Yeah.
protest, like
Mhm.
a block from my house with a megaphone saying, "You dykes should get breast cancer, and you
Oh.
it's I mean, like, so
Oh.
I woke up and like, this is in the news, this is this, that's that. I freaked out. So I read in the New York Times that there was this group that started called Gays Against Guns. And I obsessed on the internet, and I found the guy on Facebook at 2 in the morning, and I was like,
Mhm.
I'll help you raise money. What can I do? So he goes, why
Mhm.
don't you start the LA chapter? So sure enough, we start the LA chapter of Gays Against Guns. We do some activations and kind of do some rallies in the streets. Thing about LA gays, that they're not as committed as New York gays.
Yes.
You know, if I got this thing sponsored by Absolute, we would have had a much better
I
time.
know. That's awesome.
So I tried a few times, and you know, even after what happened in Florida, with the kids in the high school, we kind
Yeah.
of banded back together again.
Mhm.
But then the Trump election happened, and that a lot of people's issues became secondary, gun rights, women's rights, gay rights, all kind of like, okay, let's get rid of this hog first.
Mm-hmm.
Take this baton back up,
Right. Absolutely.
So
Yeah. That was like, all of us worked so hard to get him out for the 2020 election. Thank God he is. Our country was going a real bad direction when he was president.
I mean, the truth is that my family survived oppression, and we are talking about fascism. I mean, I thought I lived in America.
Mm-hmm.
None of this is okay.
Yeah.
And the thing is that unfortunately, because I'm officially technically a senior citizen, like my dad was in the underground, and that's like something that's also in my DNA. But I'm like, what am I going to do? Like go by, you know what I mean? But I believe that we're going to have to create underground. I believe we're going to have to infiltrate some of these lunatics and take them out. It's what I think. Because if it gets worse, what is the option? It's not like the law is not doing anything about it. We still don't have the January 6th commission. The fact that Trump's so
they're trying to sweep it under the rug now, like it never happened.
Yeah, did you see
they're playing it down?
Did you see Meghan McCain today? Apparently went on the View and said, "Can we just move on from this thing already?"
She's such a knucklehead. I can't stand that girl. I cannot. She annoys the ever-loving crap out of me.
Horrifying. Ugh. And I told Marcus, I said, and this is to everyone that's running in 2022. If your platform doesn't start with what happened on January 26th, you're going to lose.
January 6th, yeah.
If you start going all wonky with your like policy and like Democrats, Democrats have to talk about.
Strike a nerve with them.
Yeah.
Remind them. Yep.
First thing out of the mouth.
Insurrection. And
period.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you.
2024. There's no holidays. You know what I mean? This is the most important issue. And I don't care what happens in Israel. I don't care what happens in Iran. I don't care what happens in anywhere. The Congo, none of that matters. January 6th. That's the number one issue.
Yep, absolutely.
It's more important than race relations. Sorry. If America does not come first, nothing else is going to
Nothing else is going to matter, right? Oh my goodness. Well, let's get off the heavy subject. I want to play this little thing that I play with all of my guests, and it's let's take a look. Welcome to How Well Does NIKKINOO Know You? Those are my Adobe skills. That's why I have Old Man Murphy help me all the time. I'm
your intro is nice too, by the way.
Oh, Old Man Murphy, Well Hey Productions. He put that together for me. I told him the colors and everything, and he had it out like he's amazing. I go through him, like Ryan and I work with him. We've got some new stuff we're working on, and he's doing it for us. So if you need a good guy, he's awesome.
What, graphic production stuff?
Oh yeah. He does like logos and intros and like anything. Like he's amazing. So if you want his info, I'll give it to you. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question and you're going to answer, obviously, and I'm going to see if I got the answer right. Now, most of these I took a shot at, but some of them, there's no way. It's so obscure. Like it's so vast. I would never be able to guess. So, all right, let's get something started with something easy, I guess. Favorite color?
Red.
I almost put red. I put dark blue.
I was going to do blue because of Democrat, but the truth is
it's red
because my face is so red. My face is so red. I just figured I'd make it my favorite color. No, when I wear red, I kind of look, younger.
Oh my gosh, I love the color red. Like clothes and stuff. Yeah, I could see red on you looking great. Totally.
But to be 100% be honest, black.
I was because you always wear black. I was thinking that, and I'm like, that's why I went with dark blue.
There's an expression: the Gurkos look better in black.
Yeah, I do too. I look good in black. Okay, so your favorite board game?
Risk.
I put chess.
I'm not
Okay.
that smart.
No, stop. You're very smart. Okay. Are you more of a steak and potatoes type of guy or more of a seafood and salad type of guy?
I mean, steak and potatoes
Yes.
because of the potatoes part, you know.
Yep. Because of the potatoes. Yep.
Mashed
I had that.
potatoes,
Most people are, I think.
mashed potatoes is like my thing.
Yeah. I would actually pick seafood. I love seafood if it's seafood, but okay. Are you a dog person or a cat person?
Dog.
Yes, I got that right.
That's
Okay. So if you could visit any decade at all for a week, what decade would it be and why?
wow.
I only guessed the decade. I didn't guess the why. But
Mm. I mean, to be honest, the Roaring Twenties, because
that's what I put. Roaring 20s.
good, because cocaine was flowing for like 10 cents.
Yeah, right? Like that is the decade I would have gone back to as well. For sure.
Totally. I mean, it was such an exciting time. It was after their kind of pandemic.
Mhm.
Women's skirts were rising.
It was
Drugs.
after World War One.
Yeah. So it
Mhm.
was like the freedom. It was all about freedom, which is
Mhm.
always a word that comes back to me as something that's really important, to find your freedom in whatever it is you do.
Yep.
Those people were,
Yeah, they were like,
Hollywood
"I'm not
stuff.
wasting time. We're gonna have some fun."
Yeah.
And
Art
they
was
did.
amazing. Movies were starting to happen. It was just an
Yeah.
exciting time in America.
Yep. Yay. If we ever have a chance, we'll go back together.
Yes. Or when we have our big get together, we can have a costume party.
Oh, we can have it. Yes. It can be a theme party. The Roaring
One of
20s.
the evenings we have to be,
Oh my God, that'd be great.
3-day thing, whatever.
Oh, I love it. That's a great idea. Okay. All right. Favorite flower.
Oh, tulips.
Ah,
Yeah. I love it.
oh
I
no, don't look at my answers.
I
I
lived in
put
Amsterdam.
tulip. I
lived in
love
Amsterdam.
tulips. Tiptoe through the I love tulips. And I'm so excited. I think I'm doing really well. I've gotten 4 out of 6 questions right.
Nice.
Okay. Favorite actress or actor?
Well, Meryl Streep, of course. I mean, she's amazing. An actor?
I got Meryl Streep. Do you see it?
Oh, awesome.
Yep.
So I don't have to pick one, and a male and female. That was it.
You can tell me who your favorite male. Let me guess. Let me guess.
I mean, do they have to be alive?
No.
All right, but this one's alive. Anyway.
Okay, I'm gonna say Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson.
I mean, it would have been him, but I'm so obsessed with Leonardo DiCaprio. I think
I almost said him. Oh my God.
so
I
talented.
know you. We're connected somehow.
Of course.
Oh my God.
Here
That's
we are.
amazing.
Right?
I've gotten 5 out of 7. I've never gotten this good of a score. I'm getting good at this.
Well, we're
Woo.
kindred spirits, darling.
So I don't know if you saw this when I was putting it up there, but your favorite swear word.
Well, I happen to have seen it, but you're right.
It's fuck. That's mine too.
I mean, it's such a delicious word.
Oh, it is.
I use it on TikTok. Do you? I think.
Yes. Yeah, I do.
I mean,
I don't use it as much as I used to, just because TikTok is, they're so awful. Like they're guidelines. I get guideline violations like every day now.
I mean, what is the problem with those people?
I can't. I just can't, dude. Like that. I don't know. No.
We need to keep it alive for the.
Oh yeah, and I'm going. I'm at like 611 or 612,000 followers now, so it's doing really well. But I've been putting out some good content since I came back, and I want to continue doing that. I just wish they'd stop taking my videos down. It's really pissing me off.
I can't understand when they take mine down, but when I do, I don't. I've stopped getting angry. I just kind of think, okay, next time I have to either I redo the same post so that it takes like a lighter turn about it. Whatever I write about comes really from my heart, and it's something that's been a reaction to something. So yeah, so I hate when they do take that stuff down.
Yeah, it's a pain. Okay, so next question. This is a good one. And this is not one I have an answer for because it's way too vast. All right. So, and I've asked some of my other guests this. If you could be invisible and undetectable for an entire day, what would you do with your skill, or what would you do with your power?
Like, where would I go and
Like
sneak?
anything. You could do anything. You're undetectable and invisible for an entire day.
Well, I know I would want to infiltrate somewhere where I can gather information that would take down somebody. Like,
Mm-mm.
I would, like, I wouldn't waste my time on Marjorie Taylor Greene because we're
Mm-mm.
pretty to taking her down the other way.
Yeah.
But I would want to, I don't know. I mean, I would want to use that in a way that could help afterwards. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm not clear on, it's not coming to me right away, but I know that I would do something that would be like, aha, I found
Yes.
this.
Yes. Take a mofo down.
And since if I'm invisible, I could stuff something in my invisible pants, like proof of something.
Your invisible pants. They just see walking papers.
I mean, you
I have
know,
a walking by
somewhere that there would
themselves.
be like, or I was actually, it would be kind of hilarious to see like what Ivanka and Jared's dinner table is like.
Oh my
It was like,
God. Just hang around the Trump family and see like how weird it would be.
yeah, I mean, I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't waste time on
Donald
it,
would
but
sing too much, and I would that smell. I can't imagine the smell he
yeah.
can. Ugh.
Blech. No, same. Okay, so let's see. Okay, if you could tell your younger self anything at all, what would it be?
Don't do drugs.
Mm,
Yeah, I
yeah.
survived a drug addiction, so
Uh,
I would say,
yeah.
you know, you didn't really do it, whatever. You know, again, it's brought me to where I am.
Yeah.
So it's the pitfalls that you pick up, that's
Mhm.
the whole bootstrap thing comes
Yep.
back. Because
Absolutely.
it was a couple of times. It wasn't just once, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Look,
yeah.
that just doesn't kill you, just makes you stronger, right?
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. I mean, I'm almost 60 days sober. I stopped drinking.
Fabulous.
Yeah, it had gotten really bad, especially during the pandemic, but I had been drinking a lot prior to it. Just got not out of control, but I didn't feel healthy, and I felt, you know what I mean? Like I felt like I don't like a freaking beverage to have this kind of hold over me.
Right.
So I quit.
I mean, and you know, that's why the first thing I noticed when I said your skin is so beautiful, I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my skin has gotten so much better, and I dropped 3 pounds like that because it was maybe inflammation or something. So, I don't know,
Good.
but I feel good. I feel good. And there are times
12 steps isn't awesome. Are you doing the program and everything?
no, um, no, sometimes like when I go on walks and stuff, when I first got sober, I would listen to some of the AA meetings on podcast.
Right.
But I'm doing good. And when I get weak, I have my bubbly water and,
Mhm. Oh, well, awesome. I have this, I thoroughly look back at my time at the 12-step program in very lovingly. It's like,
mhm,
you know, there are certain steps that you live your life by that teaches you that I still kind of incorporate into my life. I just, you know,
mhm.
chose not to continue whatever and going on.
Good.
No judgment.
Proud of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, nobody wants to not enjoy their day. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? It's if the drug or the alcohol is getting the better of you, then it's not, you're not better for it. So
mhm.
you have to kind of, it's
I
hard though. I give you
agree.
credit. It's really hard.
Yeah, it is, and I'm able to focus on things better now, and, I don't know, it's just been really good, and it's not just been good for me, but it's been good for my family, and I'm setting
Right.
a good example for my girls, that, you know what, no matter how hard things get, you can always make a change.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, congratulations. I'm
Thank
telling
you.
you. And
Thanks.
the pink cloud that comes with the early stages of getting sober, when everything's like, oh, you know, it's like
Yeah.
you feel here, and all of a sudden you're not like battling with yourself about, you know, Should I
Mhm.
have a drink? I shouldn't have had a drink. You know, you just
Yeah, and that guilt that you feel in the morning
it takes too
that you're
much
like,
time on
"Oh, I
your head,
could."
you know.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. Okay, so if you could slap any politician, if somebody, if there was a genie that would slap any politician you wanted right in front of you, that you would be able to smack in the face, who would it be?
I mean, I think it would have to be Mike Pence.
Oh,
Like, who'd you say,
really?
Donald Trump?
You would waste your and Mike Pence. Oh,
Who'd you say, Donald Trump?
MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
okay,
I'd
the
slap the
reason why
shit out of her.
you have to hear why I said Mike Pence,
So violent.
because I think he's the one that's equally responsible for the 575,000 deaths.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I agree.
fag,
Mhm.
fag, fag, you know, closet case.
You're so funny. Okay, so if you could visit anywhere in the world right now, your bags are all packed, you've got a ticket to go and everything's paid for, where would you go?
Ooh. Well, I mean, with COVID everywhere, we're so freaking limited.
Well,
This
let's
is
say
without
let's say
COVID.
that that
This is
didn't
like COVID
exist.
doesn't exist. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I love London, and I would love to go back to London or Paris, one of those two.
I was gonna say France, somewhere in France.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 'cause you're just so I don't know, you're so cool and,
Aw.
like, I could totally see you hanging
Paris.
out in Paris.
Paris is really delicious. The
Yeah,
food.
I've never been there.
Oh, the food.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, they can take the simplest little piece of bread and make you want to cry. It's so delicious.
It's all the butter.
Yeah.
It's all the butter.
There is.
That's good for the skin.
Butter. No, but it's what you do with the butter. The French have this thing with butter.
Uh-huh.
The nuns make the butter like it's a thing.
Is it a cloister? Cloister? Is that in France?
Yeah.
Like cloistered nuns or they
Yeah.
make like stuff?
And butter. It's the butter nun.
You make jam and butter.
But I also,
Candles?
I mean, I lived in London once for 6 months and it was really amazing. So, but if you haven't been to London,
I flew through it but I've
it's
never been.
so pretty. You can't even see. Paris is beautiful, but like you could use like a little hosing down. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, it's like that.
Mhm.
Like could use a little scraping up all the walls of the building.
Yeah.
But London is just so architecturally gorgeous. You can't. It's every street's like interesting and beautiful. I mean, New York used to be, but now there's so many slabs up there. They built so many like glass.
Yeah. It's stinky in the summertime.
Ooh,
So stinky. And I was only in Manhattan. But yeah, like, oh shoot, I was gonna say something about was it about Paris? I can't remember. Darn it. I was waiting for you to finish and it totally slipped my mind. I'm sorry. Um,
I have a
darn
tendency
it.
to yabble on.
Ryan and I take turns at having brain farts on our show.
I hate,
And we'll be like, okay, we were talking about this.
I hate when I'm like, I go to my husband, where's my phone?
Oh, and it's in your hand. That's like the glasses on top of the head, or oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
And I've done the phone thing. I've definitely done the phone thing. Okay, your favorite fruit.
Ooh. Well, I mean, I love oranges, bananas, apples. I mean, pineapple. I mean, I live in California.
Yeah.
I have like 80 different fruits at all time. I mean, pineapples are so freaking awesome.
So you'd say pineapple?
What'd
Final
you-
answer.
Yeah.
I put mango.
You know what?
I love mangoes.
It's not this is not mango country for some.
Yeah. Yeah. They're good. I just bought some the
Honey.
other day. My girls had never tried them and they were honey mangoes and oh, they were delicious. We were all fighting over it.
You want to hear an amazing mango story?
Yeah, sure.
So I was much younger and thinner and get prettier. Whatever. Babe was like 19,
Weren't we all?
like 40 years ago, literally 40 years ago. A friend of mine and I were walking. I used to live in Gramercy Park area,
Uh-huh.
and the delis in the summer, and the deli was selling it. And I think it was like the first time I had a mango, to be honest. And my friend's like, you got to have this mango. So like we peel it up, and it's like when you just, it's very phallic in a way, right?
It is, yeah.
So I'm standing on Lexington Avenue, like sucking on this beautiful, delicious, whatever
Mango.
mango, and a gorgeous man comes bicycle riding right by me, stops, takes a taste of it, kisses me on the lips, and keeps going.
Wow.
I was like, God.
Did you like punch someone off their bike so you could speed out?
No, I was like, come back. Are you kidding?
No, that's what I mean. Like, go after him.
Yeah, really. I mean, anyway.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
Story.
That's amazing.
So random.
Oh, okay. Next question. Would you, if you could have one of these, I guess, gifts, to be able to breathe underwater or the ability to fly?
Fly.
Definitely. Yeah, that's my point. Same. Water terrifies me. And anybody that's watching that watches my show knows I do not like the ocean. It scares me. I will go in this far in it because I know that I'll be able to see the sharks if they come at me.
I mean,
their fins will be up out of the water.
I love looking at the beach, but the idea of laying on the beach is like looking at being a piece of breaded veal cutlet,
Time to turn.
Yeah, it's too much.
I love the beach, though. I do love the beach. I like being on the beach. I like walking on the beach. I don't necessarily like laying on the beach. I like being active
up and getting like all that sand up in your crap.
Oh God, I'll never forget when I was a kid and my parents took us to Florida. It was like the only vacation we ever took as a family, as a kid, I should say. And we were visiting my great aunt and uncle, and they lived at the beach in Florida. And Boynton Beach it was. So my parents took me, and I was young. I was maybe 6, 7. And I was playing right at the edge of the water, and this wave came. It just came out of nowhere, and I wasn't paying attention. I was playing in the surf, and it took me, and I was little. Like I was always very small for my age until I matured, and it whipped me around. I didn't know which way was up or down, and I had sand up my nose, hair, in my privy parts, and I mean everywhere. It was terrible. I was still getting it out of my hair when we went home in New York.
The sand thing is not fun.
No, and so this ocean scares me.
I once was taken in by the tide, and I thought I was going to drown. I couldn't. I actually had the moment when I was like, I couldn't get out of it. I was like,
my gosh,
this is the end of my life.
Oh,
I remembered that you're supposed to just relax and taken up, but I thought that was it. I could not. It's so claustrophobic. That's why I knew the answer was fly.
I'm super claustrophobic. That's like one of my biggest nightmares is not having breath, not even just water, but like suffocating to death. Like that's I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Horrible.
Yeah. Terribly. For sure. Okay. So last question. If you could have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
God, that's such a loaded question.
Yeah.
I mean, should I say something funny? I mean, there's so many. Let me think. Dead or alive, yes?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different reasons why I would want to sit with somebody like Sigmund Freud. And find out what all about, especially because we have the same birthday. I was like,
really awesome.
I mean, on some level, I would love to hang out with Marilyn Monroe. I mean, or Betty Davis, you know what I mean? Or Betty Davis, Marilyn Monroe, or Sigmund Freud.
Very cool. That'd be a fun foursome, just like talking, and especially with Marilyn Monroe. And you said Betty Davis?
Yeah,
and Freud, like interpreting their dreams.
Yeah, it would have been like,
I love it. Those are awesome, 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 awesome answers. So I ended up getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7 right out of a possible like score of 12 because there were 3 of them on there I would never know the answer to.
So who would you want to have?
Oh my gosh. Dead or alive?
Yeah, I mean, you asked the question. You haven't.
Well, he's on the top of my list. Samuel Jackson.
Okay.
I love him. I don't know. Like
Who's somebody dead?
Somebody dead?
It's tough.
It is tough. I never like I ask the
really
questions,
tough
but I don't
question.
think about I don't know.
It's such a random question.
I do know who my who I would pick for the the fling with if my husband allowed it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
It's Alexander Haymond, I think his last name is. He is the star of The Last Kingdom on Netflix.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Really? Delicious?
Ladies, gentlemen,
Children of All
that
Ages?
show on Netflix and you'll know
The
Uhtred,
Last
son of
Kingdom?
Uhtred.
What's it about? Which kingdom is it?
It's all like based off like fact, like an actual guy, Uhtred, son of Uhtred. But it's like, oh shit, I don't
Is it
remember.
good or is he just
Yeah,
cute?
it's so good. There's like 8 seasons, I believe, and I
Really?
watched 7 or 8 of them. It's so good. It's called The Last Kingdom.
Okay.
And he is so yummy. I don't normally get like Hollywood
Yeah, he's pretty hot.
crushes. I think my last one was Matthew McConaughey a long time ago, and now this guy, and it's like,
Yeah, no,
wow.
This guy.
Yes. He's amazing.
You could do worse.
Oh my God. Just watch him in film. Like picture, he doesn't come off as hot as he actually is. So you gotta watch it. Oh my God. Ladies, you will not be sorry. Trust me.
What else are you watching?
I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of stuff. There are days I go where I don't watch anything. Like I'll watch MSNBC. We just put on because it makes me happy. Big Bang Theory. I don't know. Like I'm not a huge. I'd rather read. I'd rather read my book.
Good for you.
Honestly, yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, my kids don't really watch TV either. They're more into like the social media stuff, which I hate for them, but it's the age, I guess.
How much time do you spend looking and scrolling?
Me, way too much.
It's
way
hilarious,
too much,
though, isn't it? And
it's what?
And it's funny. It's informative.
Oh, you're talking about like scrolling like through my social media?
Yeah.
I love like sometimes I'll just go through TikTok, which I don't do often, and just watch people's videos and stuff and be like, okay, I have to do that. But because I spend so much time doing what I do and you doing what you do, you understand that it's like, gosh, when I have a minute to kind of pull my head up out of it, it's nice. So I try not to spend too much time on the social media unless I'm doing something with it. So, because I'm managing, oh my God, so much. But the 2 shows and 4 platforms, it's tough. I mean, at times I work full days. People don't realize the amount of time I put into it or how much, and people don't realize the amount of time all of us creators put into it. And, like the reading time and the research and the editing and all of it. It's a big deal.
You have to be aware of what's happening on the planet so that you're relevant and you want to be up to the minute,
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys, go ahead and ask your questions. Does anyone have questions for Abe? He's here while we've got him here. Oh my gosh. And again, just let's go ahead while they're asking their questions. Let's go ahead and push your channels again. You won't be silent on YouTube.
And on
Abe Gurko on Instagram, and Won't Be Silent on TikTok.
Yes.
Correct.
I also
Awesome.
won't be silent on Instagram, but my personality is on Abe Gurko.
Oh, so I do follow Won't Be Silent then. So you have two.
I have two.
Okay, so I'm following both of yours now. Okay, because I was like,
Good.
how was I not following you? So now that makes sense.
Now you're full on
Now
it.
I'm fully vested, man.
Now you're gonna
I
not.
would have followed that account a long time ago if I knew it was there. So you guys, you can find me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. My handle is at NIKKINOO813. And of course, my YouTube channel, which you're on right now, The NIKKINOO Show. Please subscribe if you're watching right now and you have not subscribed. Also, it's mental health awareness, and I wanted to talk to you about something. But anyway, this is the candle that it's the NIKKINOO Gives Back. Visit summerscandle.com, or you can go to nikkinoo.com and click on the NIKKINOO Gives Back. 100% of the profits goes to, I had it written down. It's a suicide awareness program. So that's like for every candle, it's they're $20, $12.50 goes to the suicide awareness. I don't have it, had it written down, but anyway, that's where it's going. And then next month, I just made the label because I work with a small candle maker, and he makes amazing candles. So next month is Gay Pride Month, and I just designed the label, and I need to talk to you because you were talking about Gays Against Guns, and I don't know if they have a national chapter, but I wanted to talk to you about maybe giving the monies to them, to the national. And I want to talk to you about that. And maybe, if you're interested, I can have Joe send you a candle and you can do a little thing, but
yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, actually, one of the interviews on my website is with the guy, John, who started it.
The Gays for Guns.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll talk more about it, but okay. Let's see if they're, thank you, Tones. Love you. Happy belated Mother's Day. Let's see. It's Karen is Hollywood Happenings. Abe, I would love to do an interview with you for Hollywood Happenings. Talk about your documentary you're working on. Are you interested? So Karen, why don't you go ahead and get in touch with him on his Instagram, his DMs there. Vicky, how sweet. Full on Abe. We love you.
Hi, Vicky.
Oh,
that's so cute.
Love your channel. Hello from Canada.
Hello.
Let's see. Let's see. Any quick questions, guys? I don't know that I think that we were talking about the nuns.
Other cigarettes.
That sounds about right. Okay, so no more questions. Abe, I want to thank you again and stay in the green room if you don't mind. I'll just go ahead and click us out. I'll end the live, but thank you so much for being on, and thank you to everyone for watching. And please go ahead, if you're watching, please subscribe, and go ahead and check out your video that you made that I showed earlier on in the show. So if you guys go to Won't Be Silent on YouTube, you can see the video. And thanks again for being on. And we'll see you guys. Ryan and I go live on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll see you guys on Monday. Take care. Love you guys.